for certain districts to be taking their trucks, the road equipments for repair. For example, for Moroto, they have to take to Gulu, and Gulu is so far. I was in a view that the ministry actually decentralizes, maybe at sub-regional. They get service providers that can do those repairs, such that they are done shortly and they are actually easily accessed by this district. I submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I have the Honorable Ambassador Baba, and then I come this way.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is James Baba, representing people of Koboko County. I would like to thank the Minister for the great work they are doing constructing roads around the country. But Honorable Minister, while you keep adding tarmac mileage throughout the country, a number of issues arise. One is the equitable distribution of these roads countrywide. Ugandans have a right to have a stake in the national cake in terms of roads. Right now, they are lopsided. We in the northern region were just beginning to catch up when others started a long time ago. We want to be part of this national cake properly. Two, the companies that construct these roads, are you taking notice of who is performing well, who is underperforming? Most of the companies now performing, working on roads are Chinese. Knowing the Chinese, a Chinese can make you shoes which will last you 2 weeks, paper shoes. Another one will make you shoes which will last 1 month. Another will make you a very good leather shoes which will last you for quite some time. Are we assessing some of these companies for their performance? Let me quote you one example. The Arua Nebi Road was contracted by Solebon in the 1980s. That road has never been repaired. But from Nebi to Pakwach, the potholes, you have to go round and round around them. They were damaged in less than 10 years. Let's assess the performance of these companies so that we can get good credible.
Honorable Right Speaker, I think you allowed me.
No, I didn't. Oyam?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for the presentation made yesterday. But as you present, Honorable Minister, I would wish to really ask you to look at the issue of equity. Lango sub-region, for example, has not benefited for a number of reasons that you can best explain to us. Look at the Ruekunye Apache Lira to Poranga Road. When I look at your presentation, it's still under mobilization. We have voted, as they have said. I don't know what more next we can do. Secondly, we have Kona Aboke, Icheme Ngai Bobi Road. This is part of the Great North Road. And this road has been pledged by the President 3 times. And I don't see it even coming on the list of the roads under NDP 3. So when are you going to work on this road? Finally, Oyam district, for example, your ministry has never worked on the central government roads, and they are all impassable. So as we talk about all the issue of roads, I would like to really urge that you give us the district status. And finally, the issue of maintenance, the road equipments, they were bought long ago, and the longer they stay, the more the depreciation level. So when are you going to have new equipments? First of all, starting with the districts which have not got, and then those ones who got, the machines are very old, and most of them are now down. I want to thank you.
Thank you. I'll have Kayunga, Masaka City, that is Dr. Bwanika. Let's move like that.
I thank you, Right Honorable. Before I submit the issues concerning roads and the state they are in Kayunga. Allow me, I don't know whether this has already been said, to welcome the rebirth and reappearance of General Katumba Wamala to this house. The Honorable Minister who pretends over the ministry, whose mandate we are discussing now, faced his assassins. Of course, that incident claimed the life of his daughter and driver, and we are grateful to the Lord that we can see him today coming back to the house and pledging to serve as the usual humble servant of God. We put you in God's hands and we pray that the emotional healing comes first, because that may not be very easy to come in the shortest period possible. But we welcome you back and we continue to pray for you. Right Honorable, I just want to remind the Minister that some time back, Kayunga faced floods, and those floods, Right Honorable, have swept a very big chunk of land, including the roads that were going through those areas. And indeed, many areas are impassable because they've been cut off by these floods. Right Honorable, the Prime Minister visited recently. She pledged that government would step in to build bridges, because that's now what we want. Reconstructing roads may not be possible.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Dr. Abed Bwanika, Masaka City. Right Honorable Speaker, allow me to start on a good note. Since 1986, we have some road works in Masaka City, and want to appreciate government, want to appreciate General Katumba and the entire team. Secondly, I just want to remind him not to forget the three major roads that feed our economy in that city: Chavakuza, Chiwangala, Kabale, which is 65 kilometers, and Chavakuza, Matete, Kaliro, 72 kilometers. And another very important road of Masaka Nyendo, Vira, which leads to the Catholic Church, which is a very, very important part of our culture and our tourism there. Secondly, we want to know on the Motukula Masaka Road, when are the works going to begin? Our people have seen the markings on the buildings. They think that the buildings are condemned. We want a stakeholders meeting from the Ministry of Works to go and talk to our people so that they know whether to go on with the development or not. And then on the road equipment, Masaka City, we did not inherit any road equipment. You give us a road fund, we cannot utilize it because we don't have road equipment. And lastly, on Kampala, the traffic, do we have a comprehensive plan to deal with the traffic of this city? You have to take hours to enter this city. We are seeing some few flyovers coming up, but we need a comprehensive plan from the Ministry of Works. How are we going to deal with the traffic jam?
Thank you. Yes, Mitiana.
Through you, Right Honorable Speaker, I need to inform the Minister for Works about the lack of equipment we have in the Mitiana district, but more specifically, the equipments of Mitiana municipality. They are really helping out. When we get those equipments, we shall be able to work on most of the rural roads in the Mitiana, and I think you'll be able to do that. About the main roads, you're doing some work, and I really thank you. But about the equipments, please provide them. And if you do not, I believe my President Chagulanyi, when he comes in, he will do that.
Thank you. Honorable members, we agreed that the specific concerns on roads, we can write them down. But let's discuss the policy behind this. Is it supportive? Can I now go to Tororo, then I come to the honorable member?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, there are two issues in this whole thing. One is the maintenance of the roads, but the other is the construction of the new roads. And I want to focus, Right Honourable Speaker, on the issue of the maintenance of the roads. And the Minister, while making the presentation yesterday, did indicate that while they have road equipment given to a number of districts, the challenge remains with the maintenance of those equipments, but also they are constrained financially in maintaining the roads, especially once we've had rains like we've recently had, and we're still having the rains. Right Honourable Speaker, we have the Land Fund Act, and this Land Fund is very specific. The road. The road fund. And this road fund, Right Honourable Speaker, specifically Section 21, talks about the funding to this road fund, and is very specific and says that all money is collected from all the various sources, as mentioned in the Act, shall be remitted to the road fund monthly. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to inform this House. I know I had said this before, but currently the road fund is given money as and when the Ministry of Finance, it's the Ministry of Finance that decides what percentage to give them. And this must end, Right Honourable Speaker, because the law is specific, shall, and it must be monthly. So when you give them 30%, unless we deal with that problem, ladies and gentlemen, honourable colleagues, we shall continue sitting here and lamenting about our...
Thank you. Yes, Honourable.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Microphone. Let's proceed, Honourable.
I was almost getting muscle pulls because of this down-up movement of putting up my hand, but I thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
I'm sure you do many more of those.
For record purposes, I'm seeing Harriet Mugenyi, woman member of Parliament, representing the people of Hoima. I want to echo members who have thanked the Minister for the report he gave us. And Right Honourable Speaker, allow me to draw the attention of this House and the Honourable Minister on the low budget cuts for the district roads, which I believe is a very big issue. Right Honourable Speaker, the budget for the district roads is a mockery. And if we want to improve the road network, because we believe that the district roads are what actually matters most to our people, the people who vote for us. Take an example, my district, Hoima district, got 50 million for the first quarter. And on the 50 million, they had to run office, they had to maintain equipment, and the actual roadworks. And it happened, Right Honourable Speaker, at that time, the wheel loader lacked 4 tires. Each tire is 7 million. The grader required 6 tires, and each tire is 5 million. And the district has got 50 million. So my prayer, Right Honourable Speaker, is that we increase. Our minister really helps us to make sure that the budget cuts of the district roads is really realistic. There is nothing. We shall keep crying about roads and roads and roads, and the district will not do the roads because they do not have the money. The budget is insufficient. Right, Honourable Speaker?
Thank you.
I thank you. The muscle
Is that Kapelebion? This Kapelebion.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Minister for the speech and the statement made yesterday. I want to comment on three things. One is on the quality and the standards of roads that have been constructed. I am sometimes shocked that even before the road is finished, we begin seeing potholes on the roads which have been constructed by a contractor, and yet they have been opened and given to the public. I wonder whether there's a policy or should be there in government to make sure that whatever road is built in this country or put together, it is of a certain standard and a particular size that provides for pedestrians, border cyclists, and the vehicles. Otherwise, we have so many narrow roads, and there are so many accidents, and the quality and the types of humps on the roads across the country are as varied as the roads you meet. So I want to request that we have a position that there's a standard and a quality of roads. Number two, the determination of where to put these roads. The argument is that an economic basis is utilized. Mr. Honorable Speaker, sir, if we go by that, some of our districts will never see tarmac roads because they don't have the economic justification to have tarmac roads put there. So I want to request that the ministry should also consider putting in place affirmative action for areas where there are no sufficient economic reasons to justify putting those. Otherwise, we'll never see tarmac roads. Finally, we should have the central government take over inter-district road constructions because the districts don't have the money and the time and ability to be able to build those good roads joining districts. So I want to request that that should be part of their policy helping us going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, it's now an hour since we started, and that's what the rules say. Debate on the statement of a minister will take 1 hour. This is a very important matter, and as I said, a lot of the concerns are specific. Can we have those written down and submitted to the Honourable Minister either today or in the course of the week so that they compile this comprehensive thing and deal with them? I'm going to ask the Shadow Minister to speak, but there's some question that needs to be asked, Honourable Minister. On page 2 of your statement, in that table, Honourable members, you'll notice that the national roads are 13.2% of the road network in this country. The rest of the roads, that's a Duka Road District, urban, rural community access roads, are 86.8%. And then you see that for the 13.2% of the road network in this country, we budget 16.8 trillion for the 13.2% of the road network. And the last time I checked, the money that was given to the road fund in the last financial year was 168 billion for the 86.8% of the road network. Honourable members, if our discussions as to influence how government operates, maybe these are the issues we should be picking out. So that it gives us direction, it gives us guidance, and we also see how to advise government to rearrange some of the things so that some of the matters are taken care of. Because if you, for 13.2%, you put 16.8 trillion, and then for 86.8%, you give 168 billion. And these are the roads that are in the community, the ordinary people, our villagers, and we're talking about socio-economic transformation, and these are the people there. And this is the budget they have. Maybe we could have guidance on this so that we see, as a parliament, how we can say, no, we might have to redo this, restructure this so that we move. But and this is the kind of debate I expected. But now we are doing a catalogue of concerns. I think we better write them down. Shadow Minister?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the Minister of Works for the report. In a way, it was a little bit comprehensive, but has a few issues which I want to respond to. In the first place, Right Honorable Speaker, the Class A roads, to an extent, I would like to thank government for, at least for the improvement in that regard. However, for the other two classes that actually relate to the common man, a lot has to be done in that regard. Honorable Speaker, as a shadow cabinet, we are actually writing a comprehensive report regarding this particular issue, which we shall seek to discuss with the government, and if they fail to respond to our queries, then we may have to be forced to go through you and present it to this House. We had a quick look at this report, and there are a lot of inaccuracies and misinformation. As a shadow, we are actually privy to have more information which is accurate than actually the people who are supposed to give accurate reports in this regard. I will just, in the interest of time, and as I've just promised that we have a comprehensive report which we are compiling, I will just highlight a few areas. One, the performance. Honorable Speaker, I have a feeling that as a shadow should be...
Proceed, Honorable Minister, in the shadow.
Yes, yes. The performance rate of these roads as represented in this report is not true. Actually, I had the privilege of getting information from UNRWA. I will just highlight a few roads. When you look at this report, the Honorable Minister gives the impression that everything is going on fine. But I'll look at just about 6 major roads which are known. Busega-Mpigi Express Highway, a total of 23.7 kilometers. By June 2020, it was 0.4% in terms of performance. That is not properly reflected in the report. Muyembe na Kapilipiliti is 92 kilometer stretch. By June 2020, it had not commenced, and by June 30th, 2021, performance report below 4%. Masindi Park, Butiaba, Wanseko Road, and all these other roads. So we now got a report giving the impression that things are moving on well, but the performance rate is here low. There are also roads, sorry, like Najanankumbi, Busabala, Munyonyo Interchange, Chiraka Sangati, where actually even construction has not commenced, but money advanced in a patch everywhere. And this is a countrywide. It's not true really that all these roads have been worked upon. And I agree with the Honorable Basalirwa, who actually insisted that I think whatever is given is from the boardroom. You should go down and inspect. Right Honorable Speaker, there's also a number of roads and bridges that have been washed away. I would like to thank the Commission for the money you give us as shadow, as additional allowance. I took time off to go to Tororo, and actually the Wananchi was telling me, you should come here as the MP, because the MPs actually have even no access to their constituencies. They have actually taken up the task in Tororo, for example, to repair bridges with one.
Point of order.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I come from Tororo, and I have access straight to my own village. I have traversed almost all the sub-counties in my district. I know there are challenges of some, not all, some broken bridges as a result of the recent rains. And about a month ago, we had the Ministry of Works working as a committee, a district roads committee. Honorable Chweri was with us, and we took him to the spot, the inter-district connectivity bridges between Tororo and Manafa. So it is not true that members of parliament have no access to their constituencies in Tororo. That is a complete lie. Is the member in order to give such a lie when I'm here seated even looking at him straight and is giving such a lie?
Honourable Member, would you like to have me rule on this matter?
Yes, right.
I am going to
Speaker.
rule. Since you are the one that is accused, you cannot give your own ruling. Were you talking about the same Tororo she's referring to? Or is there another Tororo you went where members could not access their constituencies? Were you referring to the same Tororo district?
Right, Honourable Speaker. I was talking about Tororo South, but I also want to inform this House that Honourable Opendi, at times actually I find him in Kasese, and so I think he should be confused. She might be confusing Kasese for Tororo. Right, Honourable Speaker.
Order.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker.
Point of order? You're raising on the point of order? Okay.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Is it really in order for a member of parliament to insinuate that other members of parliament have no right to go to any place in this country? Is the MP right? Are you in order? Honorable Sarah Pendi has a right to traverse the country, go to any district of her choice. Is the honorable member in order?
Are we still talking about the issue of Kasese and Tororo?
Yes. Doesn't she have a right?
The Honorable Shadow Minister said he left his own constituency. I went to some Tororo. And he said Tororo South. To be more specific, he said Tororo South. And Tororo South is in Tororo district. So, because before I had not yet understood what you were talking about. Is it the same Tororo? Now you are jumping to Kasese. Is there a Tororo in Kasese? I don't think you are in order now, Honourable Member.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I think the point I wanted to put across that in most districts in Uganda, because of the rains, the bridges have been washed away. And we want to get an explanation from the Ministry of Works. These matters are foreseeable. The rains are foreseeable. And we don't have sort of a plan to work on these specific roads. I also visited Kasese, incidentally, and the bridges of Kirembe, Kasese-Kirembe Road, Kasese Bridge, Nyamwamba Bridge, Nkinda Bugoye, Nyakaringo Road, to mention but a few. They have completely been washed away, and wananchi have no access to their homes, which I believe it is also unconstitutional. One, they have right to earn a living, even to make a families, but they have no homes.
Information.
Honorable, what is happening at the moment? Huh? I didn't hear. Who raised point of information? I heard as if it's a member for Nakawa who raised on the point of information. I just saw you getting up and going. She had raised it earlier when I was not listening. That is very surprising. Okay, please, if you have allowed.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. In addition, the Minister has come up with a new technology of the low cost ceiling. But they are looking at the low tonnage of the roads. Instead, they should be looking at the weather variability of such areas, because at the same time, they have identified the climate change as a challenge to road construction. So instead of looking at the low tonnage, they should be looking at the climate and weather variability and the weather of that area historically, such that what they establish remains for some time. Okay.
Information.
The problem, Right Honourable Speaker, having, these people are looking at me as a shadow minister. I'm not just a shadow. So I'm talking on your behalf. So that kind of information should have been given to me at the shadow cabinet. So if I can proceed, Mr. Honourable Speaker. I was talking about that these areas are prone to these disasters and they are known. So instead of talking about River Nyamamba repeatedly year in, year after, we should have a comprehensive plan for such areas. Right Honourable Speaker, we also have an issue for value for money, and that one will be given in our comprehensive report. But specifically, I have two other items I can talk about in the interest of time. The issue of the district equipment. Sorry, you know, I have a problem with that. Yeah, the issue of the district equipment. Most of the areas we sampled, the equipment is still wanting. I don't want to use the word fake, but the suppliers did not do a good job, and that one has to be looked into. We also have the units, zonal units, which were supposed to maintain the roads. If you look at the minister's report, the budget allocation is 3 billion for the zonal units. And when you look at the people who are now maintaining Victoria Motors, Spear Motors, and okay, there are three. You have 3 trillion. Okay, 16 billion is allocated for the zonal. But only 3 companies maintaining, they actually have a claim of 1.3 trillion. And that is surprising. Because if you have just ordinary companies maintaining equipment which has broken down, claiming trillion, and then you have zonal maintenance units which are supposed to maintain all the equipment for the zones at this level, then there's a point of investigation which must be really followed. Either it is a conspiracy to break down equipment and you deliver them to these companies demanding trillions, and you cannot fund your own zonal units and you allocate 16 billion, I think that's something which has to be investigated. People will now break down equipment for them to claim trillions. Instead of funding a zonal unit under your ministry which you can control. So I think those are areas which you have to look at. And then, Right Honourable Speaker, we've also had issues to do with the recent directives by the President that this company is willing to repair this and maintain this road. And then it says, since we're not paying in advance, it should be awarded the contract. One, it breaches the PPDA rules. Two, it is also irregular and illegal. You see, because you are now giving out a loan without approval of this House. And that is not within the docket and mandate of the President. So most of the local contractors have been pushed out. See, the people we can talk to, the people who actually have feelings and a duty to build better roads.
Point of order from Tue.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Is the Member of Parliament in order to tell us that the local contractors can do when you have buildings, for example, in Mulago, we have Cancer Institute building that was given to local and was abandoned up to now. Another building was given Heart Institute. Local was given another building, constructed, and was left undone. Even our building, Parliament, up to now, it is not finished because it is under local construction. So our local constructors are not doing what it is desired. Thank you.
Was that a point of order? I was not able to establish the breach, so I will let it pass. Yes, Honourable.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker,
procedure,
for that wonderful ruling.
Point of procedure.
Right Honourable Speaker, thank you so much. The previous speaker, Right Honourable Speaker, has intimated that because of the failure of one local company, Rocco, which we are not so sure that it's 100% Ugandan, because it failed on its duty, he thinks all local companies in the country should be denied opportunity to do work in this country. Right Honourable Speaker, we have so many local companies.
Honourable, on what matter do you raise?
Which procedure matter, Right Honourable Speaker? We have so many companies, Right Honourable Speaker, in this country who are losing out on the competition in the PPDA processes, but also are losing out with those kind of awards. Right Honourable Speaker, when a member just comes here, utters words that nails our local companies, and he just walks away, he sits in his seat very comfortably and very happy that the Chinese are the ones who are given the work in this country. Right Honourable Speaker, Are we proceeding well to leave that member enjoy his seat in this parliament of Uganda?
There should be, no. There should be, what is the word? A breach, and the sanctions should be commensurate. Now, for a member to come and mention a company or two, I think we would have acted.
Thanks very much, Federation of Uganda Football Associations, for such an innovation, which is a teaser. And we see these things on TV everywhere in the world. I'm glad that they are on Ugandan screens for Ugandans to follow their stars. Good afternoon. Welcome to UBC. My name is John Bansentamu. It's another edition of Sport that we bring to you. It's a Crunch Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifier. The Uganda Crested Cranes against Lucy. Yes, Lucy is the Ethiopian national team, women's national team. And I'm joined in this studio by a gentleman called Mike Mubiru, who is here to break it down for you at the start, in the mid, and at the end. Michael, welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bans, and a very good evening to the viewers.
When does evening start?
From 3.
Okay.
Yeah. always on point there.
So how are you? It's been a while since I last saw you in the studio.
Yeah, we've been doing the Uganda Cup, and definitely. But of course, when it comes to women football, I'm always here.
And Uganda Broadcasting Corporation is the home of that women's football. We promised you that, and we shall deliver it. And today it comes no bigger. I think you've not watched any bigger than it. Yes, of course, a couple of days ago we were here for the World Cup Under-20 qualifiers, but this one is much bigger. I've told you, it's the Crested Cranes, Uganda's women's football national team, against the Lucy of Ethiopia. What do you have for Ugandans?
We are expecting a very good game, first of all, from the Ethiopians. We've played them on a number of occasions, including the Tokyo Olympic Games qualifiers. We've lost to them.
Yeah.
And we play them in...
Remind Ugandans, home and away.
Yeah, home and away.
3-2-1-0.
Yeah, home and away. So it has been a very good record. But the advantage we have, Barnes, is the fact that we've always put out a very strong, formidable side. And the gap between us and Ethiopia is really getting closer. And our girls are really putting in a very, very good performance there. If you look at the squad that we have today, the likes of Fauzia Najemba, you have Komuntale, who's making her debut today.
And the team is, my coach, George Lutalo, has given you Ugandans. Captain Luther Turo is in goal. There is Viola Namudu. There is Komuntale Sumaya, a debutant. I'm certain guys from Fort Portal City. Must be all eyes on UBC because she's from that area. The central defensive pairing is Shadia Nancha and Asia Nabukenya. In the midfield, there's that girl who plays for Vihiga Queens, Joan Nabidie. There is Leticia Nabosa, and there is Hasfa Nasona.
Yeah.
Then the front three must be Kunihira, Margaret, Sandra Nabweteme, and Fauzia Najemba.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. Of course, Nasun are playing just behind those front three. It's going to be more of a 4-2-1-3. Yeah, and what we need to do in this particular game, Barnes, is one, the advantage you have is the Ethiopians have not been having some good football in there. In between, of course, their season is off. There's not been so much football being played. So we've had a chance to play in the COSAFA as guests. That is already a big advantage. So we've had some, good results around our belts. That is going to be pushing us.
We beat up on Namibia.
Yeah, we beat up on Namibia.
We drew. No. We beat up on Eswatini. We beat up Eswatini. We drew up with Namibia, and we lost to Zambia.
We lost to Zambia, and that is already good enough experience for us. And what we need to do in this game is try to start up on a very fast pace. We need to use the ball in the wings, and that should be giving us the advantage, especially through the wings. So you probably expect Komuntare to use the advantage. She has scored 2 goals in the
under 20,
in the under 20. So you expect her to really delve so much onto that experience that she got to give us momentum going forward. Otherwise, I think the Ethiopians will be a little bit lazy. They will want to start off on a calm note, which we do not want to give them at the moment.
And those are the girls walking onto that St. Mary's Stadium, Kitende in Wakiso District. The Uganda Crested Cranes against the Lucy in green. And Uganda is lucky for this game. We've got an array of stars. Can you believe it? Juliet Nalukenga is on the bench.
Absolutely. Any other team would probably start them. Trust me. Yeah.
Fazila Ikwaput is missing, injured, but we expect her to be back. Uganda plays Ethiopia this one, home and away, 180 minutes. Then our final qualifier, in case we have to go to AFCON, Women's AFCON in Morocco next year, will be against either Kenya or South Sudan. Tell me the predictions of this game and how you expect it to pan out before you cross over to Peter Otai and Fifi Kinamiru, who are down at the stadium.
I will take Uganda winning this one by 2-1. Very, very cagey, but Uganda will edge it.
There's a girl in that Ethiopian team that has tormented us all through since 2016. I'm certain she's called Loza Abera. She must be in. How do we get